and with us again is Casto and I'm Ryan, and we're about to cook caldereta.
Caldereta, and that's a beef stew for all you out there. So to start off our caldereta, we have about 500 grams of chuck steak, and when you pick your beef, you want something with a little bit of fat. It doesn't really matter how tough it is because we're going to be cooking it in the stew for a while.
So it's all soften up.
Yeah, it'll soften
It'll
up.
add flavor too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take it and cut it into about, chunks about that big, nice big dices. I'm going to throw it in the bowl. So now we've got the chuck steak all chunked up, nice.
Nice and diced
Exactly.
up, yeah?
So we're going to marinate that in some salt, pepper, and lime juice. We've got about a quarter cup of lime juice.
Now why have you chosen lime for this particular dish?
You want a citrus. You can do calamansi or the kumquat. That's what they usually use.
Okay.
But if you can't find that, lime juice or lemon juice will work.
Right.
So you want about a tablespoon of freshly ground black pepper, another tablespoon of salt, and then the lime juice. So, Ryan, I'm going to ask you to mix that up for me while I
Great.
start the veggies. Just like any other beef stew, you want to have some good hearty vegetables to pair with the meat. So we've got some carrots, some potatoes, some tomatoes, onion, garlic, and green capsicum. So I'm just going to cut this up. Just going to cut these up into nice big dices. Alright, I'm going to just peel the carrots. I'll show you another little trick with this.
Great.
I'm going to do what we call a roll cut. So this is nice for stews when you want big chunks. So you're just going to cut it at an angle and then roll it about halfway,
Yep.
and then just keep doing that.
Oh, you've got that nice...
Yeah, it's got a nice
look.
shape to it. Put that to the side. And then with our potatoes, we just want them to cook at the same time as the other veggies.
You don't take the skin off?
No, not with these. These ones have a nice thin skin that you can
Okay.
eat. I'm just going to cut it to chunks like that size. Keep everything the same size. It'll cook evenly. Typically in Filipino cooking, you'll start by sautéing onions and garlic. And one thing that the Filipinos do that's different from other cultures is they also do tomatoes sometimes.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm just going to dice these up real quick. And we're going to do a few cloves of garlic. Just give it a good bash. Or two. Just get the skin.
Really get in there.
Exactly. It's good anger management. Take it out on the garlic. The skin comes right off after doing that. Cut that into slices and then a little bit finer. That's good for now. And then the onion. I'm just going to do a little bit of a dice. We don't want big chunks of onions in our stew.
Because all the others are a bit like that. So you want
Exactly.
something a bit of texture to it.
Alright, so now we have all the veggies chopped up and we're ready to start cooking. We have our pot preheated. We're going to add a little bit of oil.
It's on high heat.
It's on high heat, yep. We're going to brown the meat. You can skip this step, but I think it gives it a nice... that
Sort of charred.
Yeah, that charred
flavor.
flavor, yeah. So we're just going to do half at a time. We don't want to crowd the pan or else it'll just start heating up.
Yeah.
We don't need this to be fully cooked because it's going to cook in the stew later. So we've got most of our meat browned up, and if you look in the pan, we have some nice bits in there. That'll add a lot of flavor to the stews. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more oil. Don't want anything else to stick down there. Garlic in first. Nice sizzle. Give it a little turn. So now we can add the onions in there. And while you're stirring all this around, you want to get the little bits, scrape it off.
Brown underneath.
Yeah, exactly. When we add the tomatoes, they'll add some nice juice, so that'll help
Release that a bit more. Yeah. So do you use until it's just softened, or do you wait until it's a little bit more darker in color as well?
We just want them to soften. Yeah, we don't really need to get it more brown.
Okay.
We got that with the meat there.
True.
We'll add the tomatoes. So I'm actually going to add a little bit of salt and pepper right now. When I make a stew or a dish like this, I like to season as I go and then just keep tasting it. All right, so I think we're ready for the passata sauce, and that's just gonna be the liquid that we're gonna cook everything in.
Okay.
So throw that in there. Give that a good mix as well. You want to let it simmer for a minute or two just to get the onions and the tomatoes and the garlic to start melding with the tomato sauce. All right, so I think we're ready to add our meat. You can see we've got some nice juices.
Look at that juice.
Exactly, it's gonna be really good in there. And that's just gonna stew and get really soft and tender. So I'm actually gonna add the potatoes and the carrots now.
Okay.
Because they do take a little bit longer to cook. Just gonna throw that in there. Give it a quick stir.
And coat all that vegetable.
Get the flavor going. And yeah, I'm just gonna cover this. Turn down the heat because you don't want the bottom to burn.
And let it simmer.
Let it simmer, yep. We'll let it simmer for about 10-15 minutes before we add the capsicum.
Okay.
All right, so here we are with our caldereta.
Done.
It's almost done. We
Almost
just gotta
done.
add a few more things. I added the green capsicum about 10 minutes ago, so it's nice and tender. All the potatoes and the carrots are nice and tender as well. So just gonna add half a cup of green peas. These are the frozen kind. Then we've got our green olives, just about another half cup. And these you don't need to cook. They're pretty much done already, so just give it a good mix.
Got that really nice earthy kind of smell.
Exactly.
Very homely.
Yeah, and then you got the nice colors with the green peas and everything. So just gonna serve this up with a little bit of white rice over here. Make sure you get a little bit of everything. So there you have it, beef
looks
caldereta.
great.
Yeah.
Ready to dig in?
Yeah, let's go.
Right, before we do that, I'm Ryan, this is Casto, and we'll see you back here at Cucinang Pinoy.
First, we're just gonna take our eggplants.